Greetings, everyone. This is Audra Johnson, founder of AMJ Empowerment Outreach, where we educate, motivate, inspire, and encourage. Today, I want to elaborate on the digital footprint. The digital footprint. You know, we live in a time where technology continues to advance. And in the Bible, it even speaks of that, where knowledge shall increase. And one of the ways knowledge increases, it's through technology. So when I talk about the digital footprint, I'm going to talk about it in various ways. We do know that yesterday, there were about 3 different social media outlets that were literally shut down. Now, I don't know the reason being. There's a lot of speculation. I do believe by revelation of the Spirit of the Lord that it was planned. You know, there are individuals that are key players in the global reset and new world order that have timelines that they must meet. And those timelines, they have no problem with engaging to meet them by any means necessary. So, you know, my mentor, she was actually doing a teaching last night, and she was speaking about how people have a tendency to forget or maybe be totally ignorant to the fact that our social media platforms that we navigate through, they really don't belong to us. And I'm going to rephrase that a little different for those that may struggle understanding that. Look at social media outlets as applications that are made available for us to use. And, you know, we use them for different reasons. We use them so family members can keep up with us. We use those outlets to share information. We use those outlets even for business. But do you know the content doesn't belong to you? Once you release the content, it no longer is your possession. And I know for years, we would see annually a particular post that was shared that would encourage us to post it to protect our intellectual property. But it doesn't belong to us. Once we go live, once we post it, it's no longer ours. You know, I'd be surprised at how many artificial intelligence books have been written digitally from stolen, or let's say used, intellectual property from social media outlets. I like to call it literary theft. Truth be told, it's very important to know. Another thing that my mentor shared with me was that I believe it was estimated that a particular founder of one of those social media outlets, that he lost over $6 billion yesterday. That's just yesterday. So think about how much money they make from what people share, i.e. via content. You know, that type of money, that's a large sum of money to many of us. Now, I do want to make it known to those that may not know that there are insurance companies that insure businesses on different caliber levels when things like this happen. And when I say things like this, let me give you a scenario. Again, you know, I don't have any confirmation on what caused these outages yesterday, but let's say, for example, independent business or corporation's internal information system was hacked and information compromised. There are hackers that are good at what they do. They know how to go in and hijack information like that and hold it for ransom. This is nothing new. But companies can purchase insurance policies that will cover them, because truth be told, a lot of these companies, when they have their sensitive information held for ransom for an undisclosed amount of money, a lot of time those companies have to just go ahead and pay it. It's interesting because in my day of growing up, I was always taught that you never give in. You never give in to the person that's holding you or holding something or people for ransom. But we live in a day and hour where, because again, knowledge continues to increase, and it's more than just a physical hold when information is being held for ransom. If information is being held for ransom and the individual who's stolen that information is reaching out to these corporations and these companies, they're giving them a set timeline. You come up with this amount by this time. And because it's technology and it's information, which is one of the most valuable things now, people think that gold, silver, precious metals, diamonds are the most valuable. Information is valuable because there's personal information entangled in it, sensitive information. So really, in the midst of a few minutes, hackers, people that are good at what they do, can push a button and they can send that information all over the world. They can do great damage, and they can do damage that the corporations are unaware of. That's why in this day and hour, corporations and businesses, usually they just go ahead and pay. When the information is held for ransom, they just go ahead and pay, because they take out a policy that covers them and will reimburse them, whether it's at a depreciated amount or whether it's at a full amount. Because with everything, even with insurance, there's certain criteria that are expected to be met if you have to file a claim and you want to receive the maximum of the benefit of the policy. So that part, I wanted to get that out of the way. But I'm going back to another facet of the digital footprint. And part of that is the part of the digital footprint that a lot of people don't think about. We know a lot of people use social media platforms to express themselves, and there are a lot of things on social media platforms that are risque, things that are, let's say, rude, things that are offensive to certain genres, to certain cultures, to certain people with certain political beliefs. And so, in my age group, the footprint that I have to go back and refer to regarding my parents and regarding my grandparents would be photo albums. And some photographs, that are digital, but 90% is photographs, literally tangible pictures, photo albums. But now we live in a day and an era where the fourth footprint is digital. Because our children and our children's children and beyond, they're going to have media platforms to look at, to be part of the digital footprint. So I say that to say that our children's children and our children, they won't necessarily need to revert to photo albums. Now, they'll be there so that they can see, their great, descendants and all of that. But to look at people like parents in my age group and the generation after me, they're going to go to the social media platforms. Now, we know there's no guarantee whether there'll even be a social media platform 10, 20 years from now. There's going to always be an outlet socially. But I believe by the Spirit of the Lord, revelatory knowledge, even as I'm speaking now, He's downloading prophetic word to me that it'll be more from an asset of us having to establish our own. Like right now, many of us, We're in the process of revamping our websites. There are different independent outlets that are already out there that a lot of people who have platforms or public figures are already using because of the censorship that has taken place and continues to advance and increase on these social media platforms that exist. So there's going to always be a digital platform. There's going to always be a digital footprint, but it may, and I'm not going to even say it may, it's going to require an investment. It's going to require a personal stake and responsibility in protecting and making sure that what we share or what we're led to share on our digital platforms is not manipulated, that it's not censored, it's not removed, it's not stolen. So I want to put that out there because people need to really think about that. It's important. If you have any type of legacy that you want to establish and want your descendants born after you and generations after you to be able to see and reference, you must invest and you must back up your information. Even if you pay for a website, if you pay for some sort of social media communication or information system, you still must back your information up regularly. You know, there are a lot of leaders in the body of Christ. They've done for years, decades, over a decade, because social media has been around for over 10 years. I just celebrated a friendiversary with one of my platform friends that said 12 years. I was like, wow, 12 years. So I say that to say that there are people that have done many things, whether it be ministry, whether it just be teaching, and they've relied on that live button alone. So those of you that are out here truly using the platform and using their live features, you need to have your own personal media system right next to whatever the device is you're using. If you're using your cell phone, if you're using a tablet, whatever you're using, if you're going to utilize their platform, you're going to push that live button, it is crucial that you have your own devices right next to the device that you use, because that is a way of backing up your information. There could be a way to back up content, whether it's taking another recorder and just playing your video or your live from the platform and recording it that way. I don't know. But this digital footprint, the fourth footprint, it's important. It's important. Many of you need to create your own page, your own website. There are going to be instructions and directions that you're going to need to share. There are things that you should landmark. There are people that are our elders and seniors that you should be interviewing. And you need a place to store those things. There's wisdom, there's knowledge, there's instructions and directions that you're only going to be able to attain through those that have wisdom, those that are older, those that have been through what you're going through, those that can keep you from hitting corners. I'm just putting ideas out here like that because I know my grandmother, who she's been deceased about 5 or 6 years. I wanted to interview her. And I just never took the time to do it because I knew that my grandmother somewhat was the historian, and she knew everyone in the family like generations back, and she could tell you things, but she wasn't going to sit there and write all that down because she already knew it was in her head. So those of you that have the opportunity, interview your elders. Ask them if they're willing to sit down. A lot of them are really honored to be able to share and give the wisdom and help contribute to the extension of legacy. So listen, keep all these things in mind and remember, as my mentor shared with me last night in her teaching, When we post things on social media outlets, they don't belong to us. So, protect your intellectual property, back up your information so that you don't find yourself wishing that you have done something that you could have already done. Have a phenomenal and blessed day until we talk again. And if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you so much. Be safe and stay blessed. Bye-bye.